Hey, welcome. Today we're going to jump into something that, let's be honest, can feel like a bunch of random rules you just have to cram into your brain, working with rational numbers. But we're going to pull back the curtain and actually make sense of it all. Let's get into it. You know that feeling, right? It's like someone hands you this playbook. A positive times a negative is a negative, you need a common denominator for this but not for that, and you're just supposed to memorize it. It's so frustrating when you don't actually get the why behind it all. Well, that's what we're going to do today. We're not just going to go over the what, we are going to decode the why. By the time we're done here, you'll see the logic, not just a list of steps to blindly follow. Okay, so let's start with the absolute foundation, the ground floor for everything else we're going to do today, the rules for positive and negative signs. Think of this as level 1 of the game.
So the pattern here is actually incredibly simple. If the signs are the same, so 2 positives or 2 negatives, your answer is positive. If the signs are different, the answer is negative. That's it. That's the whole rule. And if you're wondering why a negative times a negative is a positive, just think about it like this: removing a debt. If someone takes away your debt, that's a positive thing for you, right? This one simple rule is going to pop up everywhere, so let's keep it in mind.
All right, on to the next challenge. When we start adding and subtracting fractions, there's a very specific, special requirement we have to deal with first.
And that requirement is, of course, the common denominator. Look, you can't add apples and oranges, right? You have to be talking about the same kind of thing. For fractions, that means making sure the pieces are all the same size. Finding a common denominator is just how we slice up our fractions so they're all in the same units, making them super easy to add or subtract.
So let's walk through one. If we have negative 3/4 plus 1/2, we need a common denominator, and a good one is 8. So negative 3/4 turns into negative 6/8, and 1/2 turns into 4/8. See? Now they're both in eighths. The hard part's over. We just add the top numbers. Negative 6 plus 4 is negative 2. That gives us negative 2/8, which we can simplify down to negative 1/4.
And subtraction? It works the exact same way. For 2/3 minus 5/6, our common denominator is 6. So we change 2/3 into 4/6. Now our problem is just 4/6 minus 5/6. Easy. 4 minus 5 is negative 1, so our final answer is negative 1/6. It all just clicks once those bottom numbers match up. Okay, I've got some good news for you. As soon as we switch over to multiplication, we can totally forget about that common denominator stuff. This operation is way more straightforward.
Seriously, multiplying fractions could not be easier. You just multiply straight across. Top times top, bottom times bottom. So here, 7 times negative 2 is negative 14. On the bottom, 8 times 3 is 24. So we get negative 14/24, and after a little simplifying, that becomes negative 7/12. No common denominators needed at all.
So, we've nailed addition, subtraction, and multiplication. And now for the grand finale, division. But here's the thing. Division has this little secret, a secret weapon that actually turns it into something we already know how to do.
And that secret weapon is called the reciprocal. You know, it's a fancy word, but it just means the flipped version of a fraction. The reciprocal of 2/3 is 3/2. It's the number you'd multiply by to get back to the number 1. And this one little idea is the entire key to unlocking division with fractions.
And here's the secret revealed. Dividing by a fraction is the exact same thing as multiplying by its reciprocal. So that division problem on the left, it magically transforms into the much friendlier multiplication problem on the right. All we did was flip that second fraction.
This all leads to a really simple 3-step process you might have heard of: keep, change, flip. First, you keep the first fraction, 4/5, exactly as it is. Then, you change the division sign to multiplication. And finally, you flip the second fraction to its reciprocal, which is 3/2. Now, it's just a simple multiplication problem. 4 times 3 is 12, 5 times 2 is 10. We get 12/10, which simplifies down to 6/5.
So, you've learned all the secret codes, you've seen all the moves. Now it's time to put those new skills to the test with a quick practice round using the homework problems from our source material. You ready?
All right, let's do a quick lightning round. First up, add negative 7 and 5.
And that gives us negative 2.
Next one, subtract negative 4 from 6. Remember what happens when you have two negatives right next to each other?
They become a positive. So it's really 6 plus 4, which is 10.
Okay, how about multiplication? What's negative 2/5 times 3?
And you can just think of that 3 as being 3 over 1.
Multiply straight across, and you get negative 6/5.
And for the final problem, a quick check on that key concept we just learned. What is the reciprocal of negative 1/3?
You just flip it upside down, and you get negative 3. And just like that, you've used every single rule we decoded today. Fantastic!
So let's just do a super quick recap of the codes we've cracked. 1. For signs, if they're the same, it's positive. If they're different, it's negative. 2. To add or subtract fractions, you have to find a common denominator first. 3. To multiply, just go straight across. And 4. To divide, you multiply by the reciprocal. Keep, change, flip. That's really the whole game.
And that wraps up all the math. Now, as a final point, the source material this was all based on, it was a daily math lesson. It always concluded with a little note of encouragement, a verse of the day, and this was today's verse.
The person who created the lesson just included this as a final encouraging thought for the student, totally separate from the math itself.
So as it turns out, behind every one of those confusing math rules is a pretty simple logical idea. The mystery is gone, and what's left is a tool that you actually understand and can use. So the only question left is, what are you going to solve next? Thanks so much for joining me.